everybody. Hello. Hi. Awesome. Great. So it looks like we are all good. We are running on Instagram Live and YouTube. Woo! So exciting. Hello, everybody. Hi. Welcome to Cello Tip Thursday. I almost said Tuesday. Remember back when we did this on Tuesdays? Now we're doing it on Thursday. Oh, yes. One of my dolls just said, I'm in a very spooky outfit today. Well, my favorite time of year is coming, everybody. Halloween! October's almost here, so gotta get prepared, right? So Chelly and I are here to talk about tips and tricks, anything you want to know about the music industry. We are here to answer the questions. Share your successes in the practice room, what you may be finding difficult in the practice room, any challenges you want to talk about. It's so great to see you all here for our monthly stream. I was going to check out Chelly, see how the tuning is. Halloween music. May or may not have something planned. Oh, that was not suave. My little rock stop just slipped while I was trying to be all coy. And that's just good allegory for my life. The harder you try things, the more you slip and slide and have oopsies. But yeah. For those of you who don't know, this is Halloween from The Nightmare Before Christmas. One of my favorite videos on the channel. You could just play the whole time. That'd be cool. Well, strong woman. I don't need to be told what to do. No, just kidding. Well, not kidding, because I am a strong woman. It's an educational live stream. Educational. We cover tips and tricks. And if I played the whole time, that's a concert, my friend. And it's my chance to engage with you all. I love these live streams. It's our chance to hang out, talk about cello stuff, and I can demonstrate things to you for free. So if I were to just play the whole time, that would be a concert, my friend. And it's not a concert today. Not saying they aren't going to happen in the future, but just not today. So I don't mind playing occasionally, but playing the whole time, that's a concert. You should have come to my concert last September with Paul. We live streamed that. Our cello duo. We played the whole time. Somebody just said, love the last concert live stream you did with Taekwondo. When is the next one? That's a great question. So for those of you who might not know, I do a cello duo with my friend Paul, who's known on socials as Taekwondo. And together we are Celli à deux, which means joint cellos. And yeah, we had a very fun time. We did a live stream and then 2 in-person shows in Las Vegas. And our next round of shows is going to be at the end of May. The last weekend of May, we are coming to SoCal, Southern California, and we are going to be doing some in-person shows there. So if you live in the Southern California area, expect to come see a fun cello duo. at the end of May. I'm not sure if we're going to be doing a virtual version yet. Paul and I are still discussing that. So if that is something you are interested in and you don't have, you don't live in the Southern California area, let me know, and Paul and I will try to make something happen for another live stream. Someone said on YouTube, I got a very hard piece. What piece is it? Why is it hard? Let's discuss. Shelly and I would love to help. Totally up to you if you would like to just share what you are working on. Oh, pizzicato question. I love pizzicato. Demonstrate your pizzicato, what finger and where you pluck on the fingerboard, and how you switch from arco to pizz. Back and forth quickly and safely. Yes, it has to be very safe for the cello and for the bow. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. So just kind of a little bit of an overview on pizzicato. Sure. And I'm actually going to demonstrate here and teach you all this trick. One of my favorite tricks for switching back from pizzicato to arco. And if you can practice this, it's going to save you when you're doing orchestral music especially, or chamber music where you don't have a lot of time to switch between. It's really fun. So let's just start with the basics of pizzicato. And we're going to do it in terms of, let's say we were playing arco, which means we were playing with the bow. Now we want to go to pizzicato. So this is our traditional bow hold. And what I do to switch to pizzicato is I hold it like a fist. So I'll do that again. Bow hold, fist. And then you're either going to use, you see how I have an L shape? That is how you're going to pluck with the first finger. Or you lift 1 and 2 and you pluck with second finger. It's all personal preference. It's not that one is better than the other. You're either going to pluck with your first finger or your second finger. I'm a second finger person. That's just what is more comfortable for me. So if you want to practice just that transition and you are new to this, always loop the tip of the bow with your thumb, because if you drop it, your bow isn't going to go crashing on your cello or the floor. Yikes. So you always want to do a safe, soft loop with your thumb. So you can go from arco, fist, fingers. It's an L shape. It's either first finger or second finger. So you're going to do that. And so we have our L shape. This thumb of the L shape is going to go against the side of your fingerboard. Some of you might not be able to tell from the camera, but if you come up and look at a cello, we have a curved fingerboard. We actually have this flat piece that goes all the way up the entire length of the fingerboard. It's flat. It's like a very, very skinny rectangle. That's what your thumb is going to rest against. Okay? And so if you're holding the bow in that fist, you are able to use first finger or second. Or first finger. And you really want to try to pluck with the flesh, with the pad of your finger, right where your fingerprint is. If you pluck too much towards the tip, you're going to get some fingernail. It's not going to be a strong, hefty pizzicato. And where do we pluck in terms of vertical placement? Where do we pluck? Well, I will say if you pluck too high meaning, if you pluck, getting a little backwards. If you pluck too close towards the scroll area, it's going to be kind of soft. Plucking down closer to the bridge is going to give you more presence. Exactly how the bow works, right? When you're bowing, if you're closer to the bridge, you're going to have more presence in your sound. Of course, we need a heavy bow arm to do that. If you play on top of the fingerboard, the sound is less present. And the same works with pizzicato. So generally, my kind of default placement for pizzicato is about, I'd say, maybe 3 inches away from the end of the fingerboard. If I really want to pluck soft, if I have pianissimo pizzicato, I'll move it up a little bit towards the scroll. So that's kind of the basics of pizzicato. And again, you want to be very careful that you're not clenching the fist. You're just kind of lightly holding the bow in your fist. And then with that, you're not going to have any unnecessary tension in the bow hand. And you're going to be able to move your pizzicato fingers frequently. So another thing to think about, how do we switch back to arco? We did all of this pizzicato work. How do we go back to arco? So what you want to practice is doing the reverse, where you go back into the bow hold from the fist. So do it in slow motion. I like to bring my thumb back into the little spot we have on the bow, this little black bump that your thumb rests against. You want to aim for your thumb to go there, and then your fingers kind of uncurl a little bit, and we get our bow hold. So I really try to keep it pretty close. So you notice when I make the fist, I don't like move all the fingers. I try to do it within the same spot of the bow. Now here's this little trick. Now we finally got to the pizzicato trick. What happens if you have no time, like a... Well, I have a lot of experience with pizzicato, so even with that, I feel like that's a little bit risky. So what you can do, here's the trick. You pluck in the bow hold. What? Yeah, you pluck in the bow hold. So we're going to skip the step of making the fist. I usually make the fist if I have some rests before and after the pizzicato. If sometimes I've had passages... just making up some notes, but you don't have any time. There's almost no time. You have to switch completely in tempo. So one way to get used to it, loop the thumb, just move the middle finger, index finger, whichever finger you pluck with. You want to get used to having this free without feeling like you're going to drop the bow. And so I turn and I pluck whatever finger you want. I will say with the pointer finger, you have to be careful that you don't drop it down. With the second finger, I am able to have a little extra security on this side of the hand, but with the pointer, there's nothing here. So just be careful that you don't lose your balance. So that's my trick. Is I get comfortable plucking within the bow hold. So you can practice a scale like that. And again, I only have to do this if I have 1 or 2 notes in between a quick arco change. If you have a long stretch of pizzicato, this is going to get very tiresome. So go back to the fist method where your thumb is on the side and then you use 2 or 1. Great question to start. Okay, so we have a reveal of that tricky piece that was alluded to earlier on YouTube. The Gothenburg Concerto in B minor, and there's a part which requires a thumb position combined with a chord that goes up till F sharp, both on the first and second strings. Can you advise me on it? Gothenburg. Oh, Gotterman. Yes, the Gotterman. Okay. Let me see. I think I might actually have this part on my computer. Give me a second. Oh, man. If I can... I don't want to jinx myself. I found it! Yay! I the Golterman. I'm gonna start with movement 1. See if I can find what you are talking about. That's okay. Let's see. Someday I'll have all of the major concertos memorized. Not yet. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, which movement? If you could tell me which movement, that would be great. Because thumb position and chords and switching between all of these different techniques can be tricky. So I would love to know which movement you are talking about, which movement you see this in. So, aha, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Cool. But the thing is, I think, is this the one? Oh, no, I don't have the B minor. No, I have the G major Golterman. No. Oh, no. That's right, he wrote multiple. Hold on. IMSLP will help us. For those of you who don't know IMSLP, you need to know IMSLP. It's amazing. Hello in the chat on Instagram. IMSLP is an incredible resource for music that is in the public domain. You have to triple check it's in the public domain in your specific country. An incredible resource. Not all editions of pieces are available. So just because it's available on IMSLP might not be the best edition sometimes. Please play Game of Thrones. I love Game of Thrones. It's on my YouTube channel, my friend. I have a whole music video, which is going to be so much more entertaining than having me play it live with one cello. Bam. All right. I got you, my friend. We are in the Golterman. Yep, first movement. Here we go. Now I'm going to do a big disclaimer. I have not played this piece before, actually. But I love learning about new rep. I love it. Love learning about new rep. And we're going to look at this together. And I'm so excited. Cool. Cool beans. Sweet. All right, here we go. Golterman. See, I will go above and beyond for you, dolls. I love you so much. We will go on IMSLP together. All right, chords. Oh, Hi. Oh, sweet. Another question. Thank you. We have one of our regulars on Instagram. I see the problem. The last part on the second page. Yep, that would do it. So let's see. Okay, so what we have here is a series of double stops in octaves going up to F sharp. So from this F sharp up to the other F sharp. So this involves both thumb position and octaves. Thumb position tips, make sure your elbow's not drooping down, because if your elbow's drooping down, if you can physically see my hands falling off. And that's gonna really not give us security in going up the cello. So instead you wanna lift the elbow. It's like a seesaw, right? If this is one end of the seesaw, pulls your hand out. If this side comes up a little bit, this side of the hand is going to go into the string, and that's going to give you more security, and you won't feel like you have to press and clench. So make sure that elbow's nice and supported. interesting. Okay, let's start with just doing the thumb. Okay, so we're just gonna go. Okay, so when you do that, give your hand a little shake. And only do it one more time. You can really overdo thumb position, so nice gentle shakes and only spend about two tries at a time. Now we're gonna do the A string. And you notice I'm gonna keep my thumb up to replicate the final step, because I don't want to mess with the form or have my arm droop down. So we're going to keep the thumb on even though we're not going to play it. And go back and forth if you need to retune something. If you do this, I mean, you're not practicing the part you messed up. And I see this a lot. And I was very guilty of this. Let me show you again. Let's say, we totally missed the G sharp. Oh well, I'll just, I mean, that's not the part. Once you're on the A, you have to practice the transition into the note that's out of tune. A lot of people land out of tune and go, oh, I'll fix it in the moment and move on. I mean, that's good in a concert. You don't want to be out of tune, but if an accident happens, you have to adjust. In your practice room, it's the transition that is causing us to land in or out of tune. So you always have to go back a couple notes. Rinse and repeat. All right, so... Okay, so we did both of them separate. You do that twice, and then we're gonna slur. We're gonna slur the notes together. Little too high. You can even smear the slur so you hear the double stop. To doing the double stop. And again, give your hand a nice gentle shake and then move on. Sorry, I want to make sure we're all here. Okay, great. Okay, cool. Oh, that's okay. Oh, I really want to do a disclaimer about this. Oh, you're very sweet. This cellist said, you did it on the first try. Well, I've been playing for 23 years. So that's really, really, a really long time. So again, it's like, that's okay. It doesn't, I mean, if I was your age, although I shouldn't assume, I don't know your age, but if I've been playing as long as you've been playing, it's very possible I wouldn't get it. And I don't mean to sound as if I am, what's the word? I don't want to sound like I am projecting feelings because I'm not in a room talking with you. I don't know. But there's this playing for 2 years. That's amazing. And you're playing a concerto after 2 years? Oh my God. That's so amazing. That's so amazing. That's awesome. What I mean is, we often look at videos of people online, and I'm so guilty of this too. You compare yourself without knowing the circumstances of the person, right? You know, I've been playing for 23 years, and that's such, oh my God, that's such a long time. That's such a long time. So you can't compare yourself. And even if I found another person who's been playing for 23 years, it's still unhealthy for me to compare myself to them too, because we all have different strengths in cello playing. So, I mean, the reason I'm able to play that passage is because I've done those exercises for probably a decade. And I've encountered so many octaves. So again, they are all circumstances. So I hope those exercises really empower you, because they will serve you so well. You're going to really memorize your octaves really, really well. And again, so that sequence of just doing the thumb, just doing the third finger, and then you're going to slur them together. Oh, well, thank you. That's very sweet. Thank you. Yeah, that's the only thing that's kind of tough with these live streams is I can't hear your reactions. I can't hear your inflections. So if I ever sound like I assume anything on these streams, I really apologize. I know what it's like to go, oh man, they can just do it so effortlessly. Come on. But again, the reason it seems effortless is because of exercises like these. So if you start them now, and you've only been playing for 2 years, that's going to be an incredible habit for you. Incredible. Great. I saw another question. I didn't forget you on Instagram. Hello. How much of your pinky do you like on your bow? Do you prefer it as long as your other fingers, on top of the bow, in between? Okay, so we're talking about pinky placement on the bow. Pinky placement. So I will say a lot of this depends on hand size and shape. Oh, yes. I'll get to that question in a second. I just saw another question pop up, and I get so excited, and then I trail off, and I don't remember what I was talking about. So pinky finger on the bow. A lot of it depends. I was taught there's kind of two systems. You'll see some cellists play with their pinky on top or draped over the frog. Draped over the frog was how I was taught. And I had a very specific teacher completely change my bow hand. Taught me so many valuable things with the bow. His name is Peter Howard. Incredible, incredible cellist. Mentor, everything. So supportive. He taught me this way because, and again, there's another incredible cellist from the same generation that plays with the pinky on top. So again, a lot of it depends on the school of teaching you grow up with. They're both phenomenal cellists and are legendary. George Nykrug plays with the pinky, played with the pinky on top, I believe. And the reason I was convinced to do it this way was because I had another pinky in contact with the frog and adding extra control and contact with the frog. I feel like the frog is pretty fluid in my hand. Now, granted, if the pinky's on top, you get, I can do kind of this. I get some extra mobility with the bow, but I really like having the contact. I do think having the pinky on top is really going to test your pinky muscle. It's really, I can feel my pinky getting a workout already. But no, I like having more contact with the frog. So that's why I prefer it this way. Also, when I pull a down bow, when you push, it's this half of the hand. When you pull a down bow, it's this half of the hand. And I like having that extra contact and having the frog inside my whole hand as opposed to inside 80% of my hand. And again, it depends on the school you grew up with, but I wanted the idea of having more pinky flexibility and having the frog inside my hand. So that's why I play with the pinky over. The only thing you have to be careful about is having a locked pinky. Really make sure the pinky is curved. It kind of curves over the stick for me. I'll hold it up for YouTube. You know, I kind of have my knuckle on top of the stick and then it drapes down. You have to be very careful you don't have a locked pinky, which I think is another reason a lot of teachers will have pinky on top, because it does force your pinky to curl itself. So trade-offs to both, but in terms of what I teach and what I do in performance, I drape it pretty much, very much over the frog. Great. Excuse me. So there is a question, an interesting question on YouTube. Got any sheet music for Painted Black? So here's the thing about Painted Black. And this is something that I haven't done yet because I need to do more research and talk with some of my friends about it, because publishing sheet music for a copyrighted piece or song can be kind of tricky. There are some logistical things you have to do behind the scenes before you publish and sell a piece of sheet music, because you are selling a piece that is not yours and you're making money off of a piece or song that is not yours. So it can get kind of complicated. I have not published my sheet music for Painted Black. That was all done by transcribing, meaning I sat down, I listened, I had my cello, and I figured out the notes to the best of my abilities. There might be one or a couple in the really fast parts maybe, but so that was something for my own projects. And when I published it on Spotify, I had to buy a license to publish it on Spotify and release it on other streaming platforms. Again, Painted Black, it's not my piece, song. It's originally by the Rolling Stones, so it's not even associated, it didn't originate from the show. It's a song by the Rolling Stones. So there are a couple people that have claim to it. So it's not published yet. I'm not making it publicly available until I go through that kind of logistics and copyright. That is something so important. If you especially want to arrange music or publish these arrangements, sell arrangements, record covers, you really have to know about copyright laws and copyright rules. And everyone makes mistakes, it's normal. But I'm more familiar with kind of the streaming side of things, because that was very important to me, was getting my music on streaming platforms. So for that, you have to buy certain licenses, which I'm aware of and have done. But yeah, for sheet music, maybe in the future. That'd be good to know. I know that's the one I get requests for the most, is Painted Black, and the arrangement of it I made for 2 cellos. So coming soon. Coming soon. Hopefully. And guys, sometimes I swear I need someone to help me with these kinds of things, because Cello Doll's a one-team crew, man. I'm telling you. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I'm learning a lot of these things along with you guys, too, in terms of copyright. Because once you get, yeah, because as you, if you make mistakes with copyright, it can get really messy. You gotta be really careful with that kind of stuff. So, awesome. Well, I hope that was helpful. I know it was kind of a long-winded answer, but yeah, it's definitely, I remember too when I started doing YouTube, I really didn't want to mess up and get, on YouTube they have something called copyright strikes, and it's kind of 3 strikes and you're out, your channel gets taken down, just completely gone. If you have these strikes. Cello has 0. And again, there are certain rules within YouTube that allow you to upload cover songs without having strikes. So you just gotta do some digging, meaning I gotta research sheet music. Would you risk a song like Beethoven? Well, the thing with Beethoven, this is a good point as well. Beethoven's in the public domain. So music that is very old, and for Beethoven, we're talking centuries old, that is in the public domain. So at least, it's, again, rules are going to vary depending on the country, but I believe it's something around 80 years. If the writer or composer has passed away over 80 years ago, their music is in the public domain. So that's why you can record Bach, you can publish an album of Bach and not have any copyright infringements. So yeah, usually the composer or writer has to have been passed away for about 80 years, I believe. It's around that number, 80. So yeah, Beethoven's in the public domain. Go wild. Record as much Beethoven as you want. Very great questions, y'all. This is really good. I'm just checking Instagram in case I didn't miss anything. Whoopsie. No. It keeps ask, do you want to put something in the chat? No. All right, great. Good. Awesome. So, what other questions? What else do we... Oh, my... All right, now okay, we're just going to leave it. Something's happening with Instagram, and I don't know. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hello. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, Christine, I'm so sorry. You had a question. I'm the worst. I'm sorry. All right, let's go to Christine's question. Does your thumb move behind the neck when playing vibrato, basically for left-hand finger balance? Yes, it does. Yes, that's a great question. Yeah, so you can kind of see some of it. Even though I don't have a camera under my cello neck, if you look at this part of the hand, you can see it's kind of like a sympathetic vibration where my thumb is rocking back and forth. I'm not sliding. My thumb isn't changing locations, but it's kind of doing a little bit of a rocking back and forth. And that's really going to allow your your oscillation of your vibrato to be wider, narrower. You'll have more control over it. And that's in all parts. Up, half position to fourth position. So let me do it once with a rigid thumb. And then we will try it once. Sorry. There we go. We're going to try it once with a flexible thumb. So this is a flexible thumb. Now, oh gosh, a rigid thumb. I can't do it. It's very hard for me to do anything. Now, I will tell you, I believe I saw, well, regardless, I think I want to specify your finger doesn't go under what's vibrating. So if my pinky finger is vibrating, it's not like my thumb goes under the pinky finger for the vibrato. It depends on what position you're in. So if you're in first position, second position, half position, thumb is always with 2. Doesn't matter what is vibrating. Thumb is always under 2 with the under the cello neck. So that's for half, first, second. Third position, fourth position, your thumb is under 1. So it changes from third position onward. Now let's say I'm in third position. We have an extension involved. 1. So G, extend for the A natural and B natural. So whenever you have an extension, thumb opens up for second finger. Okay? So thumb is with 2, half position, first position, second position, and extensions. Thumb is with first finger for third and fourth. And I think that's really important because a lot of people will extend and then leave the thumb behind with 1. And that, it's so uncomfortable because this part of your hand is back and this is reaching forward. Your thumb will open up with 2 when you have extensions. And all of these rules apply when you add vibrato as well. Let me make sure that was everything. Yeah, okay. That's a good review on thumb placement as well. So, yes. Great question. Yes, as long as your thumb isn't sliding and actually losing its contact point, it can rock back and forth. You're most welcome. Happy vibratoing. Vibrato is an exciting technique when you get to learn it, and then when you get to add it into your playing, it's even more exciting. Great questions. Let me just check on. Yes. Okay. Just checking the things. Great questions, everybody. Very good. Sweet. And another vibrato tip as well. You're going to get a bonus tip. With vibrato. Oh, okay. That's a good question too. Yeah, cool. We'll get to that. So for the extra vibrato tip, you really want to make sure your arm is also a part of the vibrato motion. Violinists use a lot of wrist for their vibrato. We don't. Our momentum for the vibrato originates in the arm and also going through into the back. So you really want, there's this kind of vibrato, which is all wrist, but then, I really think of the arm almost rotating. Instead of, like a lot of people try to shake their wrist as fast as they can, and a way to get in touch with opening up your arm is to do kind of those slides back and forth, because it gets your arm active, and you'll get used to your arm moving when you want to incorporate it into vibrato. Can you demonstrate the universal fingering for arpeggios? Sure. So, here's the thing. There's the universal fingering I was taught, and there are different universal fingerings. what is universal even? I mean, universal means it's the same fingering that is adaptable for all of the key signatures. So there might be slightly different versions out there that work across the keys, but this is what I was taught. So let's take C. Let's just start with C. That's a key a lot of people are familiar with. There's no sharps or flats. So you want to think 1, 4, 2 or 1 extend 3 going to 2. The extend 3, so we have 1, 4, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2. That is for thumb position. Yes. So 1, 4, 2 is once you're not in thumb position. And then once you're in thumb position, that becomes 1, 3, 2. And you are going to do a string crossing after each shift. So for C, the notes for C arpeggio are C, E, G, etc. Okay? So we have C, 1, 4. So that's our first octave. Now we're going to shift 1, 3, 2, C, E, G. So you see on the 2 is when we cross the string. Once you hit that second finger, the last note in the pattern is when you cross the string. So C, E, G. Second finger, we crossed over. Okay, so now we've run out of strings. So we got to go up for the final octave. And that's how you get to the top. 1, 2, 3 to kind of finish it off. So let's go one more time from the bottom and then we'll come down. So 1, 4 or 1, 3, 2 to cross over to the next string. Now let's say C major starts with an open C. So what do we do for a key that doesn't start with an open string? Like let's say D major. You play the first pitch and then you do the 1, 4, 2 or 1, 3, 2. Now what I like to do, now remember, the 2 always hits on the name of your arpeggio. So if you noticed on C major arpeggio, our second finger was always on C. C, 2, C, 2, C. Now the exception is the tippy top, because we did 1, 2, 3. But for the most part, 2 is on your key. So what I kind of like to do for the bottom is I start on 2. I know it's not a very conventional fingering, but for D major, I start on 2. So half position, 2, on the D. So for the bottom of the arpeggios, I just like to continue that trend. Start with second finger, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 3, 2. Same thing with, let's say, A. Start with 2. Okay? I wonder. I mean, yeah. I'm used to going up the A string to finish my arpeggios. Great. All right. Awesome. Great question. So 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. And then you go back the way you came. Good question. Awesome. Good questions, everyone. And I should say, too, that fingering applies also for all of the minor arpeggios. So regardless if it's a major or minor scale, or key, I should say, regardless of that, it is still the same fingering for your arpeggio. Great. Great, great, great. Awesome. Very good. We have time, I believe, for 2 more questions. We have time for 2 more questions. And again, what I like to do on these streams, if no one has a particular question, I just talk about some more teaching tips that have been helpful, both to myself when I was learning cello and also to my students. Beep. Da-ba-da. Great. Great. One thing, let's talk about something with the bow for a second. Something that I wish I learned sooner is up bows versus down bows and how they should sound the same. It's a very common tendency for up bows to sound weaker than down bows, and it's our job to really work against that tendency. The reason down bows come so much easier is because all of our weight, our heavy bow arm, the weight of our hand and fingers, it's all by the frog. So it's very easy. And those are the tendencies we don't want to do, where we sound weak at the tip of the bow. We want them to sound equal strength, equal power. So, a couple things to think about, and I'm actually going to move a little bit for the Instagram camera. I love talking about bow stuff, but it's hard with a vertical camera sometimes, because Instagram's all vertical now. Anyone else miss horizontal Instagram? I kind of miss doing horizontal videos, but engagement's not as good on them. Okay, so when you're doing an up bow, a lot of people hike up the arm because they go, well, I hit my other string. I don't want to play on 2 strings. So we get this as a result. But the distance between your neighboring strings is so tiny. You don't need this motion to clear that lower string. Your wrist will suffice. Your wrist will do the job. So it's kind of this feeling of, like if someone says something and you go, that's ridiculous. It's that hinge. You lift it up a little bit. Lift it up a little bit. The reason it's important to make these adjustments from the wrist is because it allows your elbow to stay low and heavy, and that's a big secret for a powerful cello sound. So if I'm playing along and I'm trying to be low, hear the G string disappear. We'll do it again. Okay, that little uptick at the end. Just by lifting with my wrist, it allows me to clear the lower string. Now, that's really going to help you to stay deep in the string, and you also want to slightly play into the very subtle curve of the bow. The bow is not a flat line. The stick has this slight bend into it, so we're going to do the tiniest lift so that we can get this up ramp, kind of this upward ramp that is happening at the tip of our bow. So we're really leaning into it, but it's very subtle. So what I like to do with students is we focus on the lower elbow first. Low elbow, wrist adjustment. Because if you're going to lift your elbow at the tip of the bow, it's like maybe an inch. And a lot of people tend to over adjust, and then we have an elbow that's hiked up. So start with a low, cozy elbow. Try to adjust with the wrist if you hear another string creeping in. And another thing you can practice to strengthen your up bows is a scale entirely in up bows. I used to do these a lot in early college. So you take a key and you do a little bit of a lift to the elbow. And that's going to give you a little bit of leverage. Our weight is all the way over here. Can't really help us a lot when it's all the way down by the frog and we're starting here. So we're going to use some leverage. We're going to slightly lift the elbow, just a little bit. And the point is you close in when you get to the frog. That's huge. That's really going to reinforce the idea of a low, cozy elbow. If you allow the elbow to stay up, you end up here, not there. All of this weight is suspended. Release it for when you get back to the frog. So you really want a low, cozy elbow as you return to the frog. And when you do this exercise, you really want to listen to a clear start on each note. You don't want to hear swa, ba, ba. It has to be immediate, the sound. So you lean in, push, slowly go to the next note, set the tip. That could have been a little better. Set the tip, push, set the tip, a little raise, lean, push, set the tip, lean. Okay, I see a lot of students, I'm doing it. If you hear that, slow and controlled for this exercise because we want to avoid this feeling. You really want to sink in. It should be, feel a little gritty like that at first. Oh, I'll take one more question. Can't resist a regular doll who's on the live stream. What do we got? For string crossings, I'm going to go back. I'm going to center myself. This will be our final question of the stream, just for you. For string crossings and spiccato, do you prefer to drop your fingers, your arm, or both, especially on down bows? When and why? Cool. What do I drop? What do I drop? For string crossings and spiccato, I wonder if, I think those might be subtly different for me, actually. Let me experiment. Oh, I see what you're saying. elbow is best in all situations except for what I was talking about with the up bows and getting a little leverage. That is when you will always have a lower elbow, always. So drop the elbow for both. String crossings, I really like to lead them from the wrist and kind of have a low arm and elbow follow along. Sometimes I'll see students, they lead the string crossing from the elbow, and as a result, it doesn't come when they expect it to, and we often lift too much to do it. So, and for down bows especially, I think it's, again, I think it's the, it depends on the direction, because for up bows, I think the wrist is the leader. For down bows, I think the elbow is the leader. So, I lift a little bit each time. And then for the down bow, my elbow is what's cascading down. For spiccato, spiccato is a majority wrist and fingers. Wacko, 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 like this. So my wrist is doing it and my fingers are malleable, both as I go up and down and left to right. I might need to, not too much though, not too much elbow involved though. Okay, so again, for string crossings, the wrist leads the up, the elbow leads the down, but overall the elbow is low and cozy. And for spiccato, it's mostly wrist and fingers doing this kind of tapping motion. So if you ever have trouble with spiccato and you're like watching TV, you're done practicing, you can do these like taps. That's what's happening. Tap on your knee and then do a side tap. So we do tap up and down, and then you're gonna do a diagonal tap. Up and down, diagonal tap. Because that's kind of the motion of the bow. It's not just up and down. You are going down bow, up bow, left to right a little bit. So this way, and then this way. And it is gonna be gentle though, because it is gonna train this part of your arm a little bit. Give it a little stretch. So just make sure you don't overdo it. Don't do it for a TV show marathon. Maybe do it for half a commercial break or something. All right, my dolls. Hello. Thank you so much. I was saying hello because someone joined us, but we've had our hour live stream. As always, it's really great to hang out with you all and demonstrate. Shelly enjoys it as much as I do, and it's always great to hang out with you all, talk about music, and what I really hope feels like a safe space where we can all share, because, you know, it is difficult to talk about what is challenging you. Oh man, it's so hard for me to end these. Okay, quick. How do you control the stress before the concert? Control stress before a concert. Before I address that, again, I just want to say it's always so amazing to hang out with you all, talk about these questions, hear what you're working on. It also allows me to think about teaching ideas as well as I explain things to you. Think about, oh, maybe I can make a vlog about this. So it's really, it's very, very interesting for me. And the fact that people want to take time and sit and listen to what I'm saying and hopefully get some helpful tips from it is incredible. The final thing was, how do you control the stress before the concert? I get this question a lot on live streams. I should definitely make a vlog about this. And this is something I cannot stress enough. What works for me may not work for you. I had some people in the past tell me how they relieved stress before a concert, and when it didn't work for me, I thought something was wrong with me. And that took a lot of deprogramming in my brain to say, no, my brain is just wired differently. So I want to give the disclaimer that I really wish I got and didn't for a long time, which is what I tell you might not work. And honestly, through trial and error, you will learn what works for you, and you will quickly learn what doesn't work for you, unfortunately. But what I can say overall, before a concert, make sure you get a good night's sleep. I've heard conflicting ideas, but generally I like to start my day with my normal routine, not make it feel like, oh, this is a special day. Oh, I gotta, like, just go about your normal morning. Make sure you get a good night's rest. I mean, I like to go to the gym. I still, unless I'm traveling or something, I still like to go to the gym. I'd be very careful though if you do something like that, but I would go about your normal morning routine. Don't change anything suddenly the day of the concert because it could affect you later. Eat. Make sure you start the day with a healthy meal. Don't overeat. Don't undereat. I know these sound like kind of small things, but if you don't get a good night's sleep and you don't eat anything, you're going to feel, it's going to really add up and you're really not going to feel well. The other thing too, that I'm going to put Shelly gently down. One thing too that is so important, honestly, play through your concert piece every day the week before the concert. At least. Maybe even 2 weeks before the concert. I tended to do 7 to 10 days. I played the whole piece, start to finish. If you're doing a whole recital, you can't play your whole recital program every single day. You're going to really burn yourself out. If you're doing a recital, I would block off 2 weeks, play 2 pieces from your recital program every day and rotate them. Because you do a lot of great exercises, a lot of great chunk work. You practice fragments. You gotta put it together. And if you play it all the way through, by the time you get to the concert, this is gonna be like your 12th time playing through this piece. It's gonna feel more normalized, smoother. Again, normalized. Do you really wanna normalize this experience? I'll tell you a quick story that's it's kind of funny, I think. As a lot of you know, I had the incredible opportunity to perform with Lindsay Sterling on stage last summer for one of her concerts. And this was an incredible opportunity, but I only had one song. And this was a very unique circumstance. And I was thinking, how in the world am I going to prepare for this? Because I'm so used to playing lengthy shows. This is one song. You got to be right on it. And so how did I prepare for that? You know, I literally played through the song and I basically imagined Lindsay right next to me, and I played to her, and I like looked out in the crowd, which was my wall, and I was emotive and like smiling at my imaginary Lindsay. So I would really recommend visualizing, because by the time the day came, I said, it feels like I've done this before, because mentally I had done it before. So I would really like, I know it's gonna sound really silly, but if you're in a practice room, like take your cello, walk, bow, sit, play. And also, should you change your bow hair before the concert 1 week? I mean, if you need a rehair, I would do it. Yeah, I mean, a week is more than enough time if you practice every day. Usually when I have a rehair, I try to play about 2 hours a day now that I'm full-time professional. professional. And I think within 2 days, my bow feels back to normal, 2 or 3 days. So within a week, you should be fine. Yeah, if it's needed, I think that's a great idea to get a rehair. Make sure they give you a spare bow, or if you have a spare bow, use that. Great questions, everyone. Good luck with your concert. It sounds like it's coming up. I hope you have a fabulous time. And again, visualization, it's so important. Play through the rep, play through the rep, play through the rep. That has been so helpful. And again, a lot of people would tell me these things. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think, because everyone would tell me what to do on the stage, and it wasn't helpful. I find if you do your prep work before the stage, that's one of the biggest lessons I learned, was instead of worrying about what am I going to do when I walk out there, what am I going to do, what am I going to do it before. Don't worry about that. Your job is to sit on that stage, open your heart, become one with the music, and just show people the passion you have for music. That's all. That's your job. And like, what an amazing job to have. My goodness, we're so lucky that we get to do this. Yeah, do the prep work before. And I understand this with getting the bow rehaired. Yeah, I mean, some people, I understand some people might get nervous about a bow hair rehair. If you have a regular person you like to go to that is reliable for rehairs, you should be fine within a week. Your bow should feel back to normal. I'm not gonna lie, it's not my favorite thing, but if my bow hair really feels depleted, it's not going to sound great. First concert with a professional orchestra in Italy. That sounds phenomenal. Congratulations. That's awesome. Well, I hope you have a fabulous time. And yeah, I hope you have a beautiful experience. It sounds like it's going to be a really amazing time, super memorable. Yeah, just do the prep the week, really like 1 to 2 weeks out. You're welcome. And when you get on the stage, it'll feel normal. That's been my biggest lesson, is do it before. Day of, don't worry about it. All right, my dolls. Thank you so much. We will see you at the end of October, which is my favorite time of year. So maybe Chelly and I gotta cook up something special for the stream. We'll see. We'll see. It's my favorite time of year. I can't wait. October 1st is almost here. Yay! My favorite. All right. And as always, until I see you next, happy practicing, my dolls. Bye-bye.